we're going to get into is comparable to that of a good mixed drink. You take two or more different elements and you combine them together in such a way that one does not overpower the other, leaving you with that crisp, refreshing taste, as well as getting you a little bit intoxicated along the way. Amarant's 2013 studio album entitled The Nexus has this formula down to a science, tweaking and improving over everything that their self-titled debut album did in 2011, 2 years prior. Now, I must confess that I did not actually hear this when it came out. I heard it about a year later, as I did not even know this band existed. Shame on me, right? But hey, most of the people that I've talked to don't know about this band's existence, but I've gotten a few people into them just by showing them one song. It's either Hunger or The Nexus or Burn With Me or anything like that. A lot of my favorites are on this album. A lot of my favorite songs by Amaranthe are on this album, like Burn With Me, The Nexus, Afterlife is one of my favorites, as well as Infinity. Just the really epic, grand scale moments that this album employs in its actual production is just mind-blowing. Everything about this album is good. There's not a single song on this album that I don't like, and pretty much everything contributes to the album evenly, although I do like certain songs better than others, as I did note prior to this. Now, if you don't know who Amaranthe is, they are famous for having 3 vocalists. Not 1, not 2, but 3. 3 vocalists. A female, a male, and a male screamer. So basically they have 3 different influences, 3 different backgrounds in which they conduct their musicianship. They have the alternative rock, or the modern rock if you will, the pop side with the female vocalists, as well as the unclean, dirty, gruff metalcore side. And you would think that these influences could have nothing to do with each other and would not sound good, but like I said with the mixed drink theory or analysis, it sounds fantastic. They combine these influences in such a way where that one does not overpower the other, and it just leaves you intoxicated by the craftsmanship and everything about this album. It leaves you just wanting more. Now, the only thing that I see wrong with Amaranthe and their style of playing is the fact that they seem very constricted in this radio formula that I talked about in my last review of Threat to Survival by Shinedown, where every single song is between, 3 to 4 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, and it sounds like it could just be placed on the radio, but a lot of these songs are not really radio friendly, with the exception of Burn With Me, which is actually my favorite song, ironically speaking, of Amaranthe's. So, like I said, this album pretty much improves on everything that the first album did, with more songs and more variety, more variation, as well as adding a lot more pop to some of the songs, like in Electro Heart, for example. This is a song that's pretty much set up to fail with metalheads, but I myself absolutely loved it. It's catchy, it's got a great hook, it's got some really heavy guitars in it after the pop sections in the verses, and it's just the way they combine these influences together, it's just really mind-boggling how they can actually make it work. And that's one of the things that I love the most about this band. Of course, I'm going to cover Massive Addictive, as I am doing all the albums that I missed in 2013, 2014 due to my full-time job. Don't know if I'm going to do their debut album or their EP, but if I do, I guess I'll make a makeshift compilation of Amaranthe reviews or whatever for a makeshift discography review. But overall, I'm going to say this album is amazing. There's a lot of songs on here. I could go into really great detail, but I'm going to name off some key points here. Some of my favorite songs on here are The Nexus, just because of the way this song is structured. It's very heavy, and I love the beginning, how it just sounds. It starts off really, really small, really quiet, and then, this pop intro, and all of a sudden the drums and the bass and the guitars just come in and blast at full blast everything with this chugging riff. And then, of course, the lead singer, the female vocalist, I'm really blanking on their names, guys, so I'm sorry if you don't think I'm, that informed about just everything about this band. I just listen to their music. But, the female vocalist comes in, and then, of course, after she's done, the male vocalist just kind of bounce off each other. Every single person has their own part when it comes to the vocals. And that's what makes this song so great, is just everything is combined in such a way that it's tightly woven, and if you know me, I am a sucker for that. pretty much everything about this song is amazing. Love it. Theory of Everything is good too. Stardust, it's good, but it's not one of my favorites. It's really good. Not one of my favorites though. Burn With Me is one of my favorites. Again, even though there's no screaming on this song, and even though it's probably actually the softest song in Amaranthe's discography, with the exception of Amaranthe on their first album, this is one of my favorites simply because of the fact that it's very meaningful, it's very heartfelt, and just the way that they sing this song, it's very atmospheric as well. And even though it's not the heaviest, it is very hard hitting. It hits you just straight at home, and the singing on it and the production is spot on. Everything is just where it needs to be on this song, and it could not have gotten any better if they tried. So, Mechanical Illusion is another one that's really good. I really like the pacing of this song as well, especially in the verses where they are screaming. Razor Blade is another good one. Electro Heart, as I said before, is one of my favorites for reasons I stated earlier in this review. And Infinity. I've got to say, Infinity is the closer. Holy shit, is this an epic song. It starts off very quiet, very small, much like the Nexus, and just blows up into this epic, like almost power song. I don't really know how else to describe it. Like power, I don't want to say power ballad, but it sounds just very powerful, very epic, very grand scale, and a perfect way to close off this album before we get into the 2 acoustic tracks that were included as bonus songs. Now, this is one thing I will say about Amaranth. I really love their acoustic songs, but my girlfriend doesn't. My girlfriend actually thinks that they could use a little bit of work, especially with the pitch, especially on Burn With Me. She doesn't like that song. And Hunger. And it's just, I think she has a problem with just how everything sounds in relation to the electric versions, kind of just bringing them to life a little bit better. I actually really like them, but I gotta say, compared with Trinity off of their newest album, I think these fall a little flat in comparison. But I do like the harmonica on Burn With Me, the acoustic version. So overall, I am going to give this probably a 9.5 out of 10. I think it's their best work to date, and I don't think they're going to be topping it anytime soon. So with that, thank you very much for watching. This is Midnight Strike 3625. Keep calm and rock on.